Hey guys, how are all of you beautiful people? Hope all of you are doing fine, and yes, this is the new series Naruto God Level Modifier. In the world of Naruto, Toyota Hiro got the Super Modifier System. So let's start without any delay. Mai didn't dare to make any reckless move because Hiro's kunai was placed under her chin, and now Mai had become Hiro's captive. Mai couldn't help but clenched her silver teeth. She was still unconvinced about her loss, but there was nothing she could do about it right now. It is her fault that her strength is below Hiro's. Mai looked at Hiro with an annoyed face, as those big and beautiful green eyes filled with shame. Her expression was telling that she couldn't wait to smash Hiro's smug face. Looking at her beautiful face, Hiro was a little surprised, and at the same time, a little bit emotional, because he saw Mai has gradually changed from a little girl in the ninja examination to become one of the most beautiful goddesses of the Naruto world. Especially Mai's aura. Normal ninjas will have a sense of suppression if they saw her. She already has a powerful ninja posture at such a young age, which can be seen from her dares to assassinate Hiro alone. Of course, Hiro was aware of her thoughts from the beginning. Mai wasn't trying to kill him at all. As a matter of fact, she didn't have a slight intention of killing him. Otherwise, Hiro wouldn't have such a good attitude towards me. You have become my captive now. Hiro smiled faintly and then said to me. And Mai was very ashamed and annoyed, but she couldn't break free. So she accepts the fact that she had become Hiro's prisoner right now. The Konoha ninjas who stood near Hiro noticed that there was something weird between the two. Hiro-sama seemed to have a special relationship with lava-style user of the Hidden Mist village. The Konoha ninjas weren't idiots to ask Hiro about his relationship with Mai, so they didn't say anything. In fact, they wanted to give some space for Hiro and me, so they stepped back more than 10 meters backward. Why are your subordinates backing away? Mai asked with a little surprised voice as she looked at Hiro. Hiro shrugged. How do I know? You. Be obedient. You are my captive now. Hiro grabbed Mai's arm tightly. Mai could only accept her bitter fate became Hiro's captive. Hiro looked at Mai with a weird smile, which made Mai feel inexplicably panic, and said with a shivering voice, what do you want to do? What do you think? Hiro asked with a smile. Mai was a little flustered for a while. She didn't understand why she was thinking about these things, and she didn't know why she suddenly wanted to assassinate Hiro. But even she didn't know that deep in her heart, Mai cared about Hiro very much, and when she heard about the bounty that the Hidden Mist village offered for his head, she put her own missions aside and came to find Hiro. Hiro was roughly aware of Mai's thoughts. Guessing a girl's heart is the hardest thing in the world. Although Hiro didn't say anything to her in this regard, it is not that he doesn't have special feelings for her in his big heart. Hiro chuckled and then said with a smile, Mai, do you remember what I said to you when we were taking the ninja examination in the Forest of Death? Hiro's words reminded Mai of what he said before. Mai became extremely angry. Hiro's shameless behavior almost killed her from anger. She was glaring at Hiro's smiling face, with only one thought in her mind, she just wants to beat the hell out of him. You dare! Mai shouted angrily. Looking at her angry face, Hiro shrugged and said, why do you think I wouldn't dare? Mai's breath stagnated. Yes, Hiro even dared to kill Juzo of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Is there anything he didn't dare to do? Thinking of this, Mai didn't say anything else and became silent, but Mai started blushing as she looked at Hiro. Mai's face didn't become red because of other things, but simply because of her anger and shame as she looked at him. In her entire life, when did she suffer such a huge loss? Mai has always been regarded as the #1 ninja of the new generation by the Hidden Mist ninjas, and more importantly, Mai's position in the Hidden Mist village is very high. She is highly respected. How can Hiro humiliate her like this? Hiro, you are playing with fire. You'd better let me go. Otherwise, the Hidden Mist ninjas will not let you go. Although you have killed Juzo-san, don't forget that there are still 6 members in the 7 ninja swordsman squad and the 3rd Mitsukage. Mai said with confidence. Hearing Mai's naked threats, Hiro didn't get angry. He smiled instead and said faintly, "Do you think I am afraid of them?" His words made Mai completely speechless. Indeed, if Hiro were afraid of them, he would not do anything of that. Judging from his previous deeds, Hiro is obviously a bold and courageous guy. From what Hiro did, one can know what kind of person he is. Anyway, there is a war between the Konoha village and the Hidden Mist village, not to mention the death of Shinku Yuhai. Hiro had planned to stir up the Hidden Mist village and turn it upside down. So, of course, Hiro won't care about the Hidden Mist ninjas' views toward him. Mai, it's not impossible to let you free. Hiro chuckled suddenly. The only thing that he can do on the Hidden Mist battlefield is kill. But killing all day long is very boring, so he thought of doing something interesting. Mai was startled, her beautiful eyes filled with surprise as she looked at Hiro. After a few seconds, Hiro chuckled once again and then said faintly, "Let's make a bet." A bet. Hiro has already put a plan in his heart, but his face didn't change, as he continued saying, "I will let you go this time, and I will give you 2 more opportunities so that it will be 3 opportunities in total with this one. The bet is, I will capture you 3 times in a row. I have already captured you once, so now, you have 2 opportunities left. Capture me 3 times in a row." Mai's eyes flashed with anger. How is it possible for her to admit that she is weaker than Hiro with her proud personality? So she immediately snorted, "Don't underestimate me, Hiro. Capturing me 3 times in a row. Dream on." Hearing Mai's angry shout, Hiro shrugged, "Then let's wait and see." "What do you mean? Didn't I just say a bet? If I can capture you 3 times in a row, then you will be mine from now on," Hiro said with confidence. "You?" Mai became anxious, staring at Hiro fiercely. She was very angry, but Hiro didn't care and continued saying, "What, you don't dare? Well, it seems that you have no confidence in escaping from me," Hiro said with a ridiculous voice. Hearing Hiro's words, Mai's heart filled with anger. She looked at him and stubbornly said, "Who is afraid of you? I accept your bet." After the bet was set, Mia took a deep breath and looked at Hiro with her bright green eyes. Although she knew that Hiro was planning for something, her proud personality didn't allow her to refuse the bet. Seeing Mai agree to his bet, a smile appeared on Hiro's face. "Very good, then it's settled. Mai, you have 2 opportunities left. You go now," Hiro said. Mai took a deep look at Hiro. After not seeing him for a long time, she felt that the current Hiro is completely different from the old one. He has a mysterious temperament and aura surrounding his body, which makes him even more charming. Not seeing him for a long time, this guy became stronger again. Me felt even more uncomfortable as she wrinkled her nose. Humph. After taking a deep look at Hiro, she turned around, and then her body flashed away. In a few seconds, she completely disappeared. Seeing her like this, a smile appeared on his face as he whispered, "My Terumi." Hiro let Mai go. Without doing anything to her, the Konoha ninjas who were standing at a distance from him arrived at his side, and every one of them was a little wondering why Hiro would let Mai go, but they didn't dare to ask him. After all, right now, Hiro's reputation in the Konoha is too high. These Konoha ninjas almost treat him as a god, so naturally, they dare not interfere with Hiro's actions. Hiro saw these Konoha ninjas surrounded him happy and relieved face, which made him smile faintly, and then said, "Prepare to retreat." The result of the second battle was outstanding. Of course, Hiro will retreat temporarily, which can be considered a rest time for his squad. Suddenly, Hiro heard the gentle female voice of the system in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully triggering a new task. A new task: kill Fuguki Tsukazan and revenge for Shinku Yuhai's death. Task reward: Mankaigo Sharingan modifying permission. Task failure penalty: deduction 10 charm points. The gentle female voice of the system lingered in Hiro's ears, making Hiro's heart filled with surprise. The task reward is actually a Mankaigo Sharingan modifying permission. Which means, Hiro learned from the system before that he can modify his own Mankaigo Sharingan so that his Mankaigo Sharingan won't only have the abilities of Obito's Mankaigo Sharingan, but he can also have the abilities of other Mankaigo Sharingan in the original book. If he can use other Mankaigo Sharingan abilities, this will boost his power greatly. Thinking of this, Hiro's heart was full of excitement. Adding the death of Shinku, Fuguki Tsukazan has long been on Hiro's kill list. Fuguki Tsukazan. Hiro narrowed his eyes and muttered the name softly. This time the system gave him the task that he wants the most. Thinking of this, Hiro suddenly thought of something. He already has Obito's Mankaigo Sharingan abilities. What if has Uchiha Itakai and Sasuke Mankaigo Sharingan abilities, and he was able to use all these abilities at the same time? How strong will it be? Hiro led Konoha's team to retreat and left this battle zone. Hiro has only 20 people on this squad, and going deep inside the Hidden Mist village alone isn't a wise choice, so retreating is the best option. After all, he already killed Juzo Baiwa, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, so the result of this battle is already very good. Hiro led his squad and retreated while thinking about killing the Fuguki Tsukazan and completing the system task. Interesting. Hiro thought in his heart, coming to the Hidden Mist village was the right choice. If I complete the task, then I will get Mankaigo Sharingan modifying permission, and there is also my Terumi. Leading the squad back, they finally returned to the Konoha camp before sunset. In the camp, the fire of victory was rising to the sky, and Hiro was treated like a hero. Chisa, Inoichi, Shikaku, and other Konoha ninjas welcomed Hiro with high spirits. Hiro's performance in this battle was more than amazing. He actually killed Juzo Baiwa alone. Hiro is the first person to kill a member of the 7 ninja swordsmen in the Hidden Mist battlefield. Prior to this, in the previous battles, whatever it was Inoshika CH Trio, or Shinku Yai who led the Konoha troops, they didn't kill any high-level ninjas in the Hidden Mist battlefield. But Hiro broke this pattern and killed a very strong ninja of the Hidden Mist village. The morale of the Konoha ninjas has skyrocketed, and their eyes were full of astonishment and surprise as they looked at Hiro. All of them were extremely shocked, and their respect for Hiro went to another level after seeing his performance. It can even be said that Hiro's reputation on the Hidden Mist battlefield is much higher than that of Inoshika CH Trio. Shikaku said, "Thanks to you, Hiro. This time you give us a big surprise. With you here, even if we won't be able to win this war, but keeping the camp safe shouldn't be a problem. Thank you for your trust, Hiro replied with a calm voice. Seeing that Hiro didn't become arrogant because of his achievements on the battlefield, a smile appeared on Shikaku's face, and then he said, "Right now, we have an opportunity to turn the tables on the battlefield. Even if our opponents are the 7 ninja swordsmen, our strength isn't weak either, especially with Hiro here." Hiro nodded his head in agreement. Everyone understood that this was an opportunity for them, so they all agreed. Everything on the battlefield turned better because of Hiro's arrival. The 3rd Hokage has already received the reports about your deeds on the battlefield. When you return to Konoha, you will definitely have a very grand welcome ceremony, Chisa said with a smile. After witnessing Hiro's strength with his eyes, he started admiring Hiro very much. Chisa's character is very straightforward, so he didn't feel embarrassed after saying something like that. Hiro smiled faintly. At the same time, many young ninjas were looking at Hiro with complicated expressions in their eyes, such as Ebisu, Kakashi, Obito, and others. After hearing that Hiro killed Juzo Biwa, they became completely convinced that Hiro's strength was far ahead of them. Seeing how the Konoha ninjas were treating Hiro, Obito was a little dejected. Hiro's performance is too eye-catching and shining so that all his peers are no longer shining because people's eyes only see Hiro. Even a young talented ninja like Kakashi can't compare with Hiro anymore. Hiro is like a bright moon on a dark night. It can be said that being born in the same era as Hiro is a true tragedy for all these geniuses in the 5 great villages. For the next few days, the atmosphere in the camp gradually became normal, and the Konoha ninjas also had the confidence to fight against the Hidden Mist village. Under these new changes, Shikaku also changed his strategy. He was ready to take the initiative to attack. He already separated the Konoha troops into several teams and then ordered them to investigate the situation in the enemy camps. Konoha's ninjas all went out to investigate the situation in the Hidden Mist battlefield, then went out to collect information. Guy, Ebisu, Shiranui Genma, and others divided into groups and went to different places to find out the situation on the battlefield. Of course, Hiro didn't need to do these boring tasks, so he stayed in the camp, waiting for the information to arrive, and then act according to this information. As Hiro was waiting for information, the time passed slowly, minute after minute. Suddenly the sky was already dark. Suddenly, there was a noise in the camp. Hiro didn't know what everyone was talking about, but he vaguely heard Guy, surrounded, Hidden Mist ninjas, requesting support. Hiro's heart moved. He immediately got up from the bed, then his body flashed, and in a split second, he reached the center of the camp. As he reached the camp center, he saw an intelligence ninja standing in front of Inoichi, reporting something anxiously. "What's the matter?" Inoichi asked. The intelligence ninja quickly answered, "Yes, it is about Guy's team. Guy, Ebisu, and Shiranui Genma were besieged during the process of intelligence collecting. The person who they are facing right now is a member of the 7 ninja swordsmen." Hiro's heart shuddered. Finally appeared, this plot. Guy and the other 2 were besieged by the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Hidden Mist in the original work. When Hiro killed Juzo Biwa, he thought that he changed the destiny of those 3, but he didn't expect the plot happened just like in the original work. Hiro was very surprised. Guy and others are surrendered. This. Thinking of the 3 young ninjas, now the 7 ninja swordsmen are surrounding them, everyone was shocked and worried at the same time. Do you know which member of the 7 ninja swordsmen is surrounding them right now? Hiro asked immediately. The intelligence ninja was stunned, but he still answered, I was standing far away from them, so I didn't see their faces clearly, but one of them seemed to be the thunder of the hidden mist, Reiga Kuroseki. As for other people, Hiro nodded slightly. If this intelligent ninja saw their faces clearly, maybe he wasn't be standing in front of them right now. Chisa immediately said, we are going to rescue Guy and others right now. What about you, Hiro? I'll go too, Hiro said without hesitation. First of all, Hiro and Guy are good friends, and secondly, he has already planned to kill all members of the 7 ninja swordsmen, especially their leader, Fuguki Tsukazan. Shikaku shook his head and said, no, I think this time it is very likely to be a conspiracy, and their target most likely is Hiro. They know that Guy and you are good friends, so they acted on Guy to force you to show up, and that will give them an opportunity to deal with you. After all, the Hidden Mist Village right now hates you so much. Shikaku explained with a very calm voice. Of course, Hiro knows this too. But he didn't care and said indifferently, it's okay, I can protect myself. Hiro suddenly thought of something, where is Might Dewey? Everyone was taken back. Only then they came back to their senses. Might Dewey was missing. They heard someone from the crowd hurriedly reported, Dewey-san just now inquired the location of Guy and others, and then he rushed toward them immediately. Hearing what the ninja said, Hiro's expression changed a little bit, and he said, if I go alone, I can catch up with him. Leave this to me. Shikaku hesitated for a while, and then he said decisively, well, then I will leave this matter to you. Hiro nodded slightly and then asked about the location of Guy and others. After getting an answer, his body flashed and disappeared directly. Hiro went to rescue them alone, so his body was moved extremely fast. He instantly disappeared from in front of them. At the same time, Kakashi, Obito, and others also heard the news that Guy was under siege. They wanted to go to rescue them, but none of them had Hiro's strength, so of course, Shikaku didn't allow them to do something stupid like this. They could only wait inside the camp with depressed expressions, looking at each other. They can't do anything for Guy and others except praying, hoping that they will return safely. Hiro was running through the forest alone. In fact, for Hiro, bringing other ninjas with him to fight the 7 ninja swordsmen will only increase his burden unless the helper is also a strong Kage-level ninja. Now Hiro's strength is more than enough to deal with the Kage-level ninjas. If Hiro used all his secret moves and cards, then his strength would reach another level, a whole new unknown level, because even he himself isn't clear about his complete strength. Hiro's body was flickering non-stop from a place to another. Rushing toward Guy and others' location, but he didn't even see Might Dewey's shadow all the way long. But what he didn't know was that Might Dewey's heart was filled with worry about Guy's safety, so as he rushed toward his son's location, he used all his power. I hope it's not too late, Hiro murmured. Hiro himself admires hard-working ninjas like Guy and Dewey, and he doesn't want to see them die like this. Plus, Hiro and Guy can be considered good friends. After running for some time, Hiro sensed a strong chakra in front of him. A terrifying amount of chakra rose to the sky, changing the atmosphere of the whole area. Hiro was surprised, then suddenly a bad premonition appeared in his heart, which made him run, even faster than before. As Hiro was getting closer and closer to the battlefield, suddenly, he heard guys yelling, "Father, don't!" Guy looked nervous and anxious, and his heart was full of sadness because he clearly knew where this power came from and what kind of price his father would give if he continued using this power. In front of Guy, 3 hidden mist ninjas were standing. They were members of the 7 ninja swordsmen. One of them was tall and thin, wearing a mask, and had long yellow hair. He was holding a needle like weird longsword new ivory. He is one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, a jonin of the hidden mist, Kushimru Kyoryu. The person who was standing in the middle had a rough face. He was wearing a hidden mist headband on his forehead, and he was looking at the scene in front of him with a cold face. The third one had long dark green hair, and he had 2 swords, one in his hand and the second was hanging from his belt. He is Reiga Kurozuki, also known as the Thunder of the Hidden Mist, and he was holding Kiba, the only twin sword among the 7 legendary swords. The 7 ninja swords each have their own advantages and uniqueness. These 3 ninjas were besieging Guy from all sides. But at this time, Guy didn't even care about the 3 of them because his eyes were fixed on his father's body. He already knows what his father is going to do next. Guy, I have never used Hakemon Tonko no Jin's full power because using Hakemon will cause great damage to the user's body. But every ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu is created for a purpose, and my Hakemon is no exception. I use it to protect others and especially my closed ones. Now is the time to let you see the true power of the Hakemon Tonko no Jin. Dewey looked very firm and then shouted in a low voice, Hakemon, Gate of Death, open. In Ninja World, all people have the Hakemon in their bodies that restrain their chakras, but very few people know how to open these gates. If one wants to use Hakemon, some conditions must be met: super hard training, overloaded training, and training beyond the body limit. Right now, only Dewey and Guy can use it. And only Might Dewey can open the last gate, Gate of Death. Hakemon, Gate of Death, open. The Gate of Death is the final gate that the Hakemon user will absolutely die after opening it. After opening the Gate of Death, Dewey's body began to emit red steam produced by the evaporation of his blood, as if the blood in his body was burning. Hiro saw the condition of Dewey's body through the Sharingan. Hiro could clearly see that every part of Dewey's body was rapidly collapsing, but in return, he was gaining an extremely powerful physical strength. As his body's strength increased explosively, Dewey let out a loud cry, but the price he will give for gaining such powerful strength is his life. Might Dewey, Hiro muttered in a low voice. The scene in front of him reminded him of when Guy fought Madara in the original work. Although he knew that he would die if he opened the Gate of Death, seeing Guy in such a dangerous situation, he didn't hesitate to exchange his life for his son's. If one took a picture to the battlefield, the picture would show Might Dewey's firm eyes, anxious, self-blaming, and worry-filled Guy's eyes, as well as the sluggishness of Ibisu and Shiranui Genma, and the shock of the 7 ninja swordsmen, Reiga Kurozuki, Kushimru Kyoryu. Everything was seen by Hiro very clearly, as if he was looking at a photograph. It's a pity that only 3 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen came, and the person, Fuguki Tsukazan, that Hiro wants to kill the most also isn't here. After seeing that Fuguki Tsukazan wasn't here with these 3 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen, Hiro was slightly disappointed, but he still focused on the battlefield. After opening the Gate of Death, Might Dewey can use an attack method similar to an air cannon by striking the air continuously, but it can only be used for a short period of time because the user's life force will be consumed very quickly. Although this attack won't last long, its power is enough to distort the space. In other words, the current Might Dewey has a terrifying strength. But the current strength of Might Dewey after opening Gate of Death can't compare with Guy's strength when he opened Gate of Death in the original book, because Guy after opening the last gate, gained a terrifying power that made him able to fight Madara, as the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki for a short period of time. But let's not forget that Guy was already a Jonin at that time, so his basic physical strength was already extremely strong. But Dewey might only be an elite Chunin right now, he is also known as Eternal Genin. There is no comparison between the two at their peaks. But even so, after Dewey opened all the gates, his power reached a terrifying level. Red steam was emitting from Dewey's body. He rose into the sky like a fire phoenix. The majestic and terrifying chakra that was bursting out from his body made the surroundings silent. The gate of death finally opened completely. Even Hiro was surprised after seeing these changes. The red steam was coming out from all of Dewey's body. In just a few seconds, his skin turned bloody red, and he looked like a fire phoenix right now. At this time, all Dewey's chakra gathered in his heart, and at the same time, various functions and organs in his body started collapsing. With every second passed by, the pain in his body started getting more and more unbearable, and at the same time, his life force was getting weaker and weaker. Hiro felt as if Dewey's body was constantly burning. Death was approaching Dewey step by step. Death is his only destination, unless, as in the original work, someone like Naruto has a very strong yang element, rescues him, then maybe he can survive. Hiro thought in his heart, and then he couldn't help but shook his head gently. Hiro could only sigh sadly as he looked at Dewey. The more Dewey gets close to death, the stronger he becomes. The 3 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen were completely stunned. In the original work, Reiga Kurosaki and the other 6 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen besieged Might Dewey, but in the end, he killed 4 of their members and seriously injured the other 3. But now, only 3 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen besieged Dewey, which gave Dewey a crushing advantage in the battle. Hakimon Tonko no Jin! Dewey shouted with a loud voice, then his body directly rose into the sky. All the nearby rocks from him on the ground were crushed due to the tremendous impact force, and a huge crack appeared on the ground in a spider web shape. Dewey clenched his fists tightly, and his powerful chakra was locked on Reiga and the other 2. They were almost crushed under the massive amount of chakra. Kushimru was wearing a mask so that no one could see his expression, but under the mask, his face was completely petrified after seeing the terrifying red chakra burst out from Dewey's body. This sudden change in the battlefield situation shocked Kushimru to the core, and without any hesitation, he turned and escaped in another direction. Because at the moment, there is only one thought in his mind: run, I have to get out of this place alive no matter what. Kushimru started running away like there was no tomorrow, leaving his teammates behind alone. The members of the 7 ninja swordsmen are ruthless and cold-blood ninjas, so they almost have no emotion toward each other, nor do they trust each other. The other 2 also wanted to escape, but it was too late. Dewey appeared in front of them in a blink of an eye. He opened the gate of death, so he knew very well that he would die no matter what. At least he would take the life of 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen so that he won't sacrifice his life in vain. Hiro saw Kushimru running away, and he immediately acted, and his body disappeared instantly. Before coming here, Hiro placed a lot of flying rage and kunai around the battlefield. In this way, Hiro can teleport anywhere on the hidden mist battlefield. Hiro used the flying Raijin Jutsu and appeared beside Kushimru directly. Kushimru was extremely surprised, and he didn't expect that someone would appear beside him out of nowhere. It's you. Konoha's Starlight. Kushimru looked at Hiro in astonishment. Kushimru Kyoriare. Hiro pronounced Kushimru's full name slowly. Seeing Hiro blocking him, Kushimru knew that there would be definitely a fierce battle here. Dewey, who had opened the gate of death, is behind him, and Hiro is standing in front of him. Even with his strength, Kushimru isn't sure about getting out of this place alive. Where is Fuguki Syukazan? Hiro asked as he looked at Kushiwan. Are you looking for Fuguki Syukazan? Kushimru was surprised a little bit, and then he sneered, do you think I will tell you? Hiro glanced at Kushimru and said faintly, then I will beat you till you speak. Mokuton, Deep Forest Emergence. Hiro didn't hesitate and directly used one of the most powerful Mokuton ninjutsu. The attack range of this ninjutsu is very wide. Big trees started rising up from the ground. In a few seconds, the giant trees spread everywhere, and then these trees rolled towards Kushimru. At this moment, Kushimru has no place to hide or run. The big trees surround him from every direction, making him even lose the ability to move freely in the battle. At the moment these huge trees appeared and surrounded him, Kushimru finally knew why the Mokuton Kekkei Genkai is known as the strongest Kekkei Genkai in the ninja world. Although Kushimru's heart filled with horror and fear, he suppressed it. He took a deep breath to calm himself down and then used his new ibari to cut the surrounding trees and vines continuously, but unfortunately for him, these trees and vines grew, again and again, one after another, giving him no other choice but to continue cutting. As the trees continued attacking him, the pressure on Kushimru started increasing. Kushimru felt that these trees and vines wouldn't stop growing no matter how much he continued cutting. Kushimru couldn't handle the pressure anymore, so he used secret ninjutsu, spider web jutsu. Hiro saw Kushimru doing some kind of secret ninjutsu. The new ivory sword in his hand was constantly sweeping, forming an alternative defense from threads, temporarily blocking Hiro's attack from reaching his body. Oh, I admit that you have some skills, but it's a pity. Hiro said lightly, and then a light flashed in his eyes, fire style, Fireball Jutsu. Hiro's Fireball ninjutsu has power comparable to the power of the S-rank fire style ninjutsu. The huge and scorching fireball blasted toward Kushimru. When the fireball reached him, Kushimru felt a breath of death coming from this huge fireball. What is this? Kushimru said in astonishment. Water style, Water Dragon Jutsu. Kushimru quickly completed the hand seals and released a B-rank water ninjutsu, but the power of this ninjutsu was far inferior to Hiro's Fireball Jutsu. After all, Hiro's Fireball Jutsu is an S-rank ninjutsu. With a bang, the powerful Fireball Jutsu hit the place where Kushimru was standing. The power of the fireball not only evaporated Kushimru's Water Dragon Jutsu in a split second, but all the waterways in this area dissipated. Of course, the fireball hit Kushimru directly, which made him scream. After a few seconds, the fire dissipated. Kushimru's body appeared in front of Hiro, his body turned black, and the scars were all over his body. Hiro's body disappeared, using Flying Raijin Jutsu once again, and appeared in front of Kushimru. Thunder gathered in Hiro's hand. In a few seconds, more and more thunder gathered in his hand, turning his hand into a shining thunder hand. With a crack sound, the shape of the thunder in his hand changed into a Chidori sharp spear shape. Hiro put the tip of Chidori sharp spear against Kushimru's throat. Now, I want you to tell me where Fuguki Syukazan is. Hiro's plan was very obvious from the beginning, and he wanted to know the whereabouts of Fuguki Syukazan so that he could complete the task. What? Hearing Hiro's question, Kushimru's eyes flickered and then asked Hiro with a shivering voice, if I say it, will you let me go? No, I will still kill you, Hiro said lightly. Let Kushimru go. Hiro isn't brainless to do something idiotic like this. Then why do you think I will answer your question if you kill me anyway? Kushinru sneered. If you don't tell me where Fuguki Tsukazan is, you will beg me to kill you because I will let you know the meaning of wanting to die but can't die because won't let you die before telling me what I want, Hiro said coldly as he opened his six-pointed stars Mankaigo Sharingan. As Hiro looked at Kushinru's eyes, he fell into Hiro's genjutsu in an instant. How told Kushinru to miss up with Hiro was as if Kushinru was looking for his death from the beginning. Hiro opened his six-pointed stars Mankaigo Sharingan, and in an instant, he put Kushinru in the genjutsu just by looking at his eyes. In the genjutsu space, Kushinru looked around with a terrified face. He suddenly felt that his body was getting heavy as time passed under some pressure created by Hiro's genjutsu. He felt that his whole body was tingling. Then he felt as if countless swords pierced his body at the same time. The pain that followed every sword thrust was so real that he felt as if Hiro was stabbing his fleshy body. Kushinru was under tremendous pressure and pain. The swords didn't stop from stabbing him even for a second. Under this terrifying pain, he finally understood what Hiro meant when he said, "You will beg me to kill you." Kushinru said with a terrified V6, This is a genjutsu." Kushinru didn't expect the pain brought by this genjutsu would be so realistic. He knows he is in an illusion and shouldn't feel pain, but what happens right now is exactly the opposite, which frightens him to the core. The sword stabbed all over Kushinru's body, and he couldn't help but say in a trembling voice, "What kind of genjutsu is this, is it? You have Sharingan." Seeing Hiro's six-pointed stars Mankaigo Sharingan, he finally knew why he fell into Hiro's genjutsu so easily. He has Sharingan, so defending against the genjutsu that this Kekkei Genkai released is almost impossible, especially if the user was a very strong ninja like Hiro. Uchiha family's Sharingan, the second strongest Kekkei Genkai in the Naruto world after Mokuton, these eyes can create and release super strong genjutsu. Although the pattern in his eyes was different from the legendary Sharingan, there is still a similarity between the two. Tell me, where Fuguki Tsukazan is, and I will give you a quick death," Hiro said lightly. In the genjutsu, Kushinru's spirit was seriously injured after being tortured by Hiro for some time. Hiro is sure that Kushinru will give him what he wants because he knows that he isn't Hiro's opponent at all, and he doesn't have the strength to escape from this genjutsu, so the only choice he has right now is. The more he thought about this, the more depressed he became, and the pressure inside the genjutsu space started increasing with every second passed by. He almost broke down emotionally. After some time passed in the genjutsu space, I will say, Kushinru's spirit was severely tortured, and his spirit couldn't bear this kind of torture anymore, so he decided to say everything he knew, so at least he would die happily. Kushinru told Hiro everything he knew about Fuguki Tsukazan. After getting the information that he wanted, Hiro nodded faintly and dissolved his genjutsu. In an instant, the strange space disappeared, and everything returned normal. Kushinru was extremely tired. He couldn't stand on his legs right now, so he directly knelt on the ground, and his whole body was covered with cold sweat. And more importantly, Kushinru was unable to use even a little bit of the chakra in his body. He felt that the death was getting close to him, step by step. Hiro looked at Kushinru, but there wasn't Kushinru there because, in his eyes, there was only a dead man kneeling on the ground. In fact, from the beginning, Hiro didn't put Kushinru in his eyes. Kushinru's strength can be considered very average compared to the other 7 ninja swordsmen, and even Juzo Baiwa was stronger than him. "Well, I think that's goodbye then," Hiro said lightly. After saying that, a sound similar to birds singing sound started getting louder and louder. That's right, Hiro started using Chidori again. Thunder started gathering in his hand, which made it shine like a bright star. Then a light flashed from it, directly piercing Kushimuru's heart in an instant. There was relief in Kushimuru's eyes, then fell directly to the ground, as his pupils were dilated, and his vitality was completely lost. Hiro picked up the new ivory, one of the 7 ninja swords, held it in his hand. A faint smile appeared on Hiro's face. Right now, I have already killed 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen, and the other 2 ninjas over there are probably killed by Dewey. Which means 4 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen have been killed. Hiro thought to himself. The 7 ninja swordsmen is just a name now. More than half of their members have been killed. Hiro's body flashed. In a split second, he arrived at the battlefield where Dewey was fighting. At this time, he saw the red steam that was coming out of Dewey's body, which wasn't as much as at the beginning, which means his strength was declining very rapidly. Hiro knows that what he is looking at right now is the last moments of Dewey, so he couldn't help but look at him with respect. Air cannon. Dewey let out a very loud cry and used the strongest move of the Gate of Death because his body was getting exhausted. If he doesn't kill them right away, maybe he will die before killing them. In an instant, Dewey's body rose into the sky, and then he started hitting the air with super high speed. In the shape of an elephant foot, air cannon was formed as his powerful fists continuously hit the air. The 2 hidden mist ninjas were like a flatboat in the storm, and they completely lost the ability to resist and fight back. They could only try their best not to get killed by Dewey. The red steam burst from Dewey's body like a huge red wave, rolling and sweeping the battlefield like a tide. Wave after wave hit the 2 hidden mist ninjas. Reiga and the other hidden mist ninja couldn't take this beating anymore, and they vomited a huge amount of blood. Then their vitality started declining rapidly due to the blood loss. The violent storm on the battlefield finally came to a stop. As the battle came to an end, the 2 hidden mist ninjas directly fell to the ground, completely dead. Dewey also fell from the sky and then half kneeled on the ground, exhaling loudly. He felt that every bone in his body was screaming in pain. In his entire life, didn't feel this kind of severe pain. Getting through such indescribable pain, Dewey couldn't bear it anymore and vomited a mouthful of blood, and the red steam on his body gradually dissipated. "Father!" Guy shouted with tearful eyes, and tears started falling from his eyes like a river. He looked at his father with reluctance and sadness, and his expression was completely different from his usual lively character. "Guy," Dewey whispered in a soft voice. Guy looked at Dewey silently, not knowing what to say. On the other hand, Dewey smiled. There was a relief and calm, and even a little bit of joy in his smile. "Don't be sad, Guy. I am very happy right now. Today I finally let you see how strong your father is. At least I protected you. I am very happy that I didn't fall doing my duty as a father." After killing the 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen, Dewey could feel that his life force had come to an end. Dewey knew that his life had come to an end. There was no sadness, no complaints, or even regrets in his heart. On the contrary, he was completely relieved and happy. Dewey looked at Guy with a smile. Sometimes between men, they don't need any words. Trust, understanding, affection, and selfless paternal love. Guy only saw those things in his father's eyes. Guy clenched his fists tightly and tried not to let himself cry, but the tears had already started falling non-stop, and he didn't know what to say. Dewey slowly turned his head and looked at Hiro, and said, "Hiro, I have something to say to you." "You said." Hiro slowly walked toward him and said seriously. Hiro has always respected people like Might Dewey from the bottom of his heart. Hiro stood in front of Dewey and looked at him with a calm expression, waiting patiently to hear Dewey's last wish. Hiro, I have two requests, Dewey whispered with difficulty. In his current state, even speaking takes great effort. In every word he says, Dewey would feel severe pain in his lungs and throat. Hiro nodded, indicating that he was listening to his wishes. Seeing Hiro nodding his head, Dewey said, my first request is, from now on, I ask you to take care of Guy a little bit. You know that he isn't good at ninjutsu and genjutsu. And I know he will suffer a lot if he wants to be a good ninja. Hiro nodded and said solemnly, I know. I also believe that in the future, Guy will definitely become a good ninja. Hiro said this from the bottom of his heart. Whether it was Dewey or Guy, both of them are very hard-working ninjas. After all, only a few people in the ninja world could train such a difficult taijutsu, and those people usually have a very strong will, and they will work harder than anyone to reach their dreams. Hearing Hiro's words, they could feel the sincerity in every word he said to them. Dewey smiled with difficulty but felt a little joy in his heart. Then Dewey continued saying, one more thing. Hiro, this time Konoha must win the battle against the Hidden Mist. The last request of Dewey was actually this. It gave Hiro an indescribable feeling, but he still nodded seriously and said in a deep voice, don't worry, I will let the Hidden Mist pay the price of what they did, and it will not let your sacrifice go in vain. Hiro promised him with a solemn voice. Hiro attaches great importance to the friendship between men. And when he looks at Dewey, Hiro could only clench his fists tightly. Already, Hidden Mist Village. He wanted to make the Hidden Mist pay their debts back, but another close person to him has passed away in the Hidden Mist battlefield. Hiro's killing intent toward the Hidden Mist started becoming more intense. Hearing Hiro's words, Dewey didn't speak anymore. The smile on his face looked very peaceful. His eyes started closing slowly as he stopped talking. His strength has completely exhausted. His life came to an end with a smile. Might Dewey died. Guy finally lost control of his emotions. He leaned directly on Dewey's corpse and started crying bitterly, crying like a child. Hiro, Ibisu, and Shiranui Genma stood beside Guy in silence, and they didn't know how to comfort him. After crying for a while, Guy finally calmed down and wiped away his tears, then got up from the ground and stood in front of Hiro. Hiro, thank you for coming to save me this time. Guy's voice was very hoarse, and his eyes were red. It was obvious that his spirit was hit very badly by his father's death. Hearing Guy's hoarse voice, Hiro said, Guy, you have to live up to your father's expectations and become an excellent ninja. Then Hiro patted on Guy's shoulder and said softly. Guy nodded vigorously, I know, I won't let him down. I believe in you. Hiro nodded and then said, let's go back. Seeing Guy's sudden change, Ibisu and Shiranui Genma were a little speechless, and they didn't know how can someone's emotions change so fast. But they still nodded their heads and started following Hiro from behind. Hiro led the three back to the Konoha camp. All the way back to the Konoha camp, Guy was carrying his father's body on his back. Outside the camp, Hiro saw several familiar figures. Kakashi and Obito were standing outside the camp, waiting for Hiro and others to return. Seeing Hiro and others have returned, Obito and Kakashi were both happy, and they directly walked to greet them. But when they got close to Hiro and others, the two felt something was wrong with Hiro and others. Only then did Obito and Kakashi realize that Guy was carrying a person on his back, his father Might Dewey. Dewey-san. This. Did something went wrong in the battle? Both Obito and Kakashi were shocked, the scene in front of them completely shocked. Might Dewey died in the battle. At this time, one of the camp's guarding ninjas went inside to report the news. Soon, Inoshika Trio came out from the camp hurriedly. The three of them looked at Hiro and others, and they were also shocked. What is going on? What happened to Dewey? Shikaku's eyes flickered slightly as if he thought of something, but Chisa and Inoichi were completely stunned. Hiro briefly explained what happened on the battlefield, and then he told them about the Hakemon Tonk no Jin and its side effect, which completely shocked Chisa and Inoichi. So you are saying, Might Dewey used the Hakemon Tonk no Jin to kill 2 of the 7 ninja swordsmen at the cost of his life? Inoichi said in a speechless voice. That's right. I also killed Kushimru Kyoriare of the 7 ninja swordsmen. So the 7 ninja swordsmen only have 3 members left right now. Hiro said lightly. 4 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen are dead. The 7 ninja swordsmen are all famous ninjas in the ninja world, but they lost 4 of their members in the war against the Konoha village. Hiro alone killed 2 7's ninja swordsmen, and his performance was outstanding and shocking at the same time. But what surprised Konoha's ninjas was Dewey's performance on the battlefield. He sacrificed his own life to kill 2 ninjas of the 7 ninja swordsmen, which made him embarrassed and ashamed of them, especially those who mocked him. After Might Dewey's death, Guy's mood had been very low. Fortunately, Obito and Kakashi comforted him so that Guy wouldn't have any emotional problems. Hiro saw all this with his eyes. The anger in Hiro's heart grew stronger and stronger. The Hidden Mist ninjas killed both Shinku and Dewey. Thinking of the sad Kyoinai in the Konoha village, his killing intent became stronger. Eye for an eye, but for me an eye for 10 eyes, I will kill Fuguki Tsukazan next. Hiro has already made his decision. Now, he knows the location of Fuguki Tsukazan and has already put him on his must-kill list. At the same time, the names of Hiro and Might Dewey have shaken the entire Hidden Mist village and even the ninja world. Might Dewey opened the gate of death of Hakemon Tonk no Jin and directly killed 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen, making Dewey very famous, but it is a pity that Dewey himself died in the battle, which made the ninjas in the 4 great villages relieved. But Hiro is completely different. Hiro's reputation was significantly increased. When he killed Ibizo and Juzo Biwa before, his reputation became relatively high, but he is even more so now. The name Konoha's Starlight is already like thunder piercing the ear, and his name spread all around the ninja world, which also completely frightened the Hidden Mist ninjas. Because this is already the 2nd member of the 7 ninja swordsmen that Hiro has killed. This guy is so strong, and it can be said that he is indeed a bit terrifying. He is less than 10 years old, but he already has such kind of terrifying strength. Looking at the ninja world, he can be considered a very strong kid-level ninja. Hiro also killed Kushimru. Konoha village was shaken as this news spread out, and the Hidden Mist village was even more shaken. It was really unexpected that Hiro's strength had increased so much in such a short period of time. Powerful. Hiro's fame is no longer limited to Konoha and Hidden Mist. Because of his outstanding performance on the battlefield, his fame has spread to other villages. Now Hiro's light is even more dazzling than before. Such a reputation is naturally very extraordinary. Even the Inoshika Trio prestige isn't good as Hiro's in the Konoha camp. Hiro almost turned the tide of the battle in the Hidden Mist battlefield with his own strength. His current strength is strong enough to stand at the top of the ninja world. The ninjas of the 4 great villages started becoming wary of Hiro, especially the hidden mist ninjas, who know the true strength of Hiro. Hiro rested for 2 nights, his consumption was very small, and with the help of the sage body, the chakra consumption was almost negligible, so his chakra recovered very quickly. This time, I killed both of Juzo Biwa and Kushimru, plus the 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen that Dewey killed. The hidden mist can be considered seriously injured after losing these 4 ninjas. Presumably, Fuguki Tsukazan and others must have noticed my movements so that they will move more carefully in the future. But that doesn't matter, I already knew where he is right now, so I only need to kill Fuguki Tsukazan with 1 full sweep to complete the system task and avenge for Shinku-san. Hiro thought in his heart. He was preparing. Hiro has one simple rule in life: don't give up, and don't give up until you achieve your goal. So he decided to take advantage of the situation and kill Fuguki Tsukazan. At present, among the remaining 7 ninja swordsmen of the Hidden Mist, only Fuguki Tsukazan has strength close to Kid level ninja. The current position of Fuguki Tsukazan in Hidden Mist is Hidden Mist's assassination team captain, which means that the 3rd Mitsukage deeply trusts him. Well, the most important thing is to find a way to make my strength improve quickly. I think I will try to improve Flying Raijin Jutsu a little bit. Hiro has been using the Flying Raijin Jutsu a lot in battles recently, which made him more proficient in using it. He is now more confident that he could improve the Flying Raijin Jutsu and make it stronger. The 2nd stage of the Flying Raijin Jutsu can leave the Flying Raijin seal on the human body. So when an enemy has this seal on his body, it is almost equivalent to announcing that the god of death will take his life at any time. If he reaches the 2nd stage before going to kill Fuguki Tsukazan, as long as he leaves the Flying Raijin seal on his body, even if Fuguki Tsukazan runs away during the battle, he still won't be able to escape from death. Hiro devoted himself to training, and fortunately for him, his training speed was completely behind the human senses after modifying his talent. However, the Flying Raijin Jutsu belongs to the space-time ninjutsu category, which means not everyone can master it, let alone improving it in such a short period of time. Therefore, it is not so easy for Hiro to improve the Flying Raijin Jutsu. Hiro trained the Flying Raijin Jutsu all night, and finally, he made some improvement. In the Hidden Mist Forest, Hiro stood on a big tree branch. He put his palm on the big tree. Under his palm, a black 6-pointed star pattern appeared on the big tree, which was exactly the pattern of Flying Raijin Jutsu. Hiro was overjoyed and thought in his heart, successful. I finally mastered the 2nd stage of the Flying Raijin Jutsu. Now, I can teleport to any place or person that has the Flying Raijin Jutsu pattern on it or them. Hiro's Flying Raijin Jutsu finally took a step further and reached the 2nd stage. I don't know how far Minato's Flying Raijin Jutsu has reached, but with Minato's talent, coupled with his training the Flying Raijin Jutsu from many years, he should have reached the 3rd stage. Hiro thought in his heart. Strictly speaking, it has only been a few months since he started training the Flying Raijin Jutsu. But now, he has already reached the 2nd stage. From this, one can see that his talent is far stronger than Minato's. Now that the Flying Raijin Jutsu has been improved, Hiro is ready to execute his plans. Hiro's body flashed. In a split second, he arrived at his tent in Konoha camp. After putting a note on his bed, his body disappeared instantly again. Shikaku and others soon discovered Hiro's note. After reading the note, Shikaku's expression suddenly changed, and he said, This is a note left by Hiro. He went looking for the Fuguki Syukazan. What? Both Chisa and Inoichi were shocked. Hiro went directly to find Fuguki Syukazan alone. Whether it was Shikaku or Chisa, or Inoichi, they were extremely surprised and looked at each other in silence. Unexpectedly, Hiro made such a risky decision alone and without consulting them, and went specifically to find the captain of the 7 ninja swordsmen, Fuguki Syukazan. Hiro, he made a reckless decision. Inoichi's brows curled down a little bit, and he felt that Hiro's behavior was a bit reckless this time. Shikaku nodded and said in a low voice, even among the 7 ninja swordsmen, there are strong and weak members. Fuguki, the captain of the 7 ninja swordsmen, can be regarded as the strongest member of their team. After Hiro killed 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen by his own strength, the Hidden Mist ninjas will definitely be more vigilant when they face him. Yes. Chisa also nodded, why don't we just support him? The problem is, we don't even know where Hiro has gone. So all we can do right now is believing in him. Inoichi said. Shikaku let out a small sigh and said, Hiro is a reckless person. I believe that Hiro must have his own plan. We just need to wait quietly for the good news. Yes. Hearing what Shikaku said, the other 2 nodded their heads. Hiro has already made his choice, and now, they could only respect his decision. Hiro was moving between the trees at a very high speed at this time. According to what Kushimru said previously, Fuguki is somewhere in the Kirin River area. Hiro thought to himself. Kirin River is a well-known big river in the Hidden Mist village. The river flows rapidly while making a rumbling sound. Besides, this river represents an important natural line of defense to the Hidden Mist village, so protecting the Kirin River is Fuguki's mission. From the information he got, Hiro knew that the current position of Fuguki is the commander of the assassination unit of the Hidden Mist village, which means Fuguki will be very cautious dealing with things that are related to him. As for his strength, Fuguki is the captain of the 7 ninja swordsmen, and this is enough to prove that his strength is more powerful than the 6. Therefore, Hiro knows that he shouldn't be lax and careless as before. What's more, only after mastering the 2nd stage of the Flying Ragen Jutsu did Hiro decide to kill Fuguki. Soon, Hiro reached the Kirin River. From a distance, Hiro saw a big camp hundreds of meters away from him. It is one of the Hidden Mist's important camps. Hiro could see the situation inside the Hidden Mist camp clearly. Although his Sharingan isn't as powerful as Bakugan in investigating aspects, it is better than ordinary eyes. So after opening Sharingan, Hiro could see everything inside the camp clearly. There were more than dozens of ninjas guarding the gate and the surrounding in the Hidden Mist camp. Hiro didn't like to sneak around like a rat, so he shouted in a loud voice, Fuguki Syukazan, get out to me tilde tilde. In a word, there seems to be a trace of chakra in words, so that Chunfeng's voice can be heard clearly within a few hundred meters of this area, and the voice burst out, reverberating in this area. A strong sound. The constant turbulence made the Wuyin people vigilant and felt the crisis. Who is here? I do not know. The Hidden Mist ninjas were stunned. Hearing Hiro's domineering and confident words, they were completely surprised and shocked. After returning to their senses, they quickly looked in Hiro's direction, and it didn't take much time to recognize who the visitor was. Hiro, Konoha's starlight. Is it him? Did he really kill both Juzo-sama and Kushimru-sama? He looks so young. Damn it, why did he come here? And why did he shout Fuguki-sama's name? These Hidden Mist ninjas started talking to each other. They felt that this situation was extremely weird, especially when Konoha's Starlight turned out to be a 9-year-old ninja. When they heard about his age for the first time, they thought it was exaggerating, but right now, Hiro is standing in front of them, which means the rumors about his age were true. These hidden mist ninjas felt that they were under strong pressure just by standing in front of him, which means Hiro has a very powerful strength, as his chakra swept the hidden mist ninjas like a tide, which made them even more terrified than before. So strong, his chakra is so strong. Hurry up and inform Fuguki-sama. Hurry up. The faces of these hidden mist ninjas were full of panic, and their eyes filled with surprise as they looked at Hiro's young face. They didn't expect that Hiro would have this terrifying amount of chakra. No wonder the third Mitsukage put a very high bounty on his head in the black market. It's no wonder that even 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen fell in his hands. What are you afraid of? I'm not dead yet. At this moment, they heard a thick and hoarse voice from behind, and they saw a tall fat man walk out. This guy is at least 2 meters tall. He looked like a small hill walking with 2 legs. He had very long orange hair, he wore the hidden mists headband on his forehead, and his most distinctive trait was his fish-like appearance. He had small round eyes and, like most of the other members of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, sharp jagged teeth. Fuguki Suka-zan. A light flashed in Hiro's eyes. He finally saw the strongest member of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Fuguki Suka-zan. Hiro said his name with a calm voice. Fuguki sneered at Hiro. He was carrying a large sword on his back, same harder. Although the same harder was wrapped in a bandage, it still looked quite scary. Fuguki looked at Hiro carefully. He seemed to be a little surprised at Hiro's terrifying amount of chakra, but his expression didn't change even a little bit. He said to Hiro with a cold voice, "Hiro, although you had killed Juzo and Kushimru, but to come here alone, I admit you have some courage." Having said that, Fuguki still didn't move from his place because he knows Hiro's strength better than these hidden mist ninjas from the reports, so he did not dare to attack him directly. I also want to see if the rumors are true about the strength of Konoha's Starlight. At this time, another person appeared, this person wearing a dark black ninja suit, one of his eyes was covered, holding a huge sword in his hand. Hiro was very surprised after seeing this person here. He is Jinpachi Munshi, another member of the 7 ninja swordsmen. There are 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen in this camp. In this camp, there are 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Hiro narrowed his eyes, and the situation became a bit troublesome right now. After all, Fuguki has the strength of a kid-level ninja, which means he is a powerful ninja. As for Jinpachi's strength, it is hard to say, but it should also be above the Kwasakage level. The combination of these 2 will indeed put Hiro under pressure. Jinpachi holds a huge sword in his hands. The sword in his hand is called Shibuki sword, and it is literally meaning, splash. The sword utilizes various paper bombs tags contained within a substantial scroll in order to incorporate explosions into the user's own swordsmanship, earning it the title of Blast Sword. As for Fuguki, the same harder sword in his hand can absorb other ninjas' chakra to grow stronger. The more chakra its owner has, the happier it becomes, just like when it abandoned Kai's aim for Killer Bee. "You killed Kushimru?" Jinpachi asked coldly. Jinpachi is a very cruel and cold-blooded ninja. Together with Kushimru, they are known as a ruthless duo. So in the normal days, the 2 people have some friendship between them, but Kushimru was killed by Hiro, making Jinpachi very unhappy. "So what about it?" Hiro said lightly. Jinpachi said coldly, "I'm going to kill today." After saying that, he snorted, then his figure flashed, and he instantly reached Hiro's side using the body flicker jutsu. He threw out the Shibuki sword from his hand toward Hiro, and there were countless explosive tags on it. With a loud bang, the tags violently exploded toward Hiro. The explosion sound was so powerful that it could almost be heard from a few miles away. The powerful explosion voice made Hiro feel extremely stressed. Mokyuten, wooden lock wall jutsu. Hiro clasped his hands together and used defense ninjutsu instantly. The branches grew up from the ground, then gathered and bent into an arch, protecting Hiro's body from any attack. Surprisingly, Hiro used Mokyuten. After seeing his attack was resisted by a Mokyuten ninjutsu, a light flashed in Jinpashi's eyes. This is Mokyuten's style. Being able to withstand Jinpashi's explosion attack so easily. As expected of the legendary Mokyuten, Fuguki couldn't help but sigh with emotion. His attack wasn't strong at all, difficult to resist. "Are you kidding me?" Hiro sneered and said disdainfully. The strength of the Mokyuten style showed that the paper bomb's tea couldn't hurt Hiro. Hearing what Hiro just said, Jinpashi suddenly became angry and wanted to attack again. But Hiro was much quicker than him to act. Hiro's body moved slightly, and he immediately used the Flying Raijin Jutsu, Flying Raijin Slash. Hiro quickly found a blind spot in Jinpashi's position and then instantly transferred to Jinpashi's side. While holding Tiger Fang in his hand, Hiro was trying to slash Jinpashi using the fast speed of the Flying Raijin Jutsu. If his attack is successful, then Jinpashi will be beheaded. Hiro's several series of actions showed his terrifying strength and speed, which changed everyone's expression. They were astonished by his speed. This is Flying Raijin Jutsu. Fuguki's expression also suddenly changed, and he felt that there was something wrong with the situation in front of him. Hiro used the Flying Raijin Jutsu just now, and it seemed that he mastered it very well. A light flashed in Fuguki's eyes. Isn't the Flying Raijin Jutsu signature of Konoha's Yellow Flash Minotona Mikaz? But now it seems that Hiro is also able to use it. Fuguki's eyes were full of astonishment and shock. Hiro's attack didn't give Jinpashi almost any time to react or defend himself. He could only try to avoid this swift attack by relying on his rich combat experience. Although he avoided it, he was still injured by Hiro. Jinpashi spat out a mouthful of blood, obviously because the space teleport element of the Flying Raijin Jutsu was so weird, making him completely unprepared. In the end, Jinpashi was still seriously injured. Jinpashi vomited blood a few times, and at the same time, Fuguki immediately realized that they couldn't continue like this. Otherwise, Hiro was likely to get the advantage in the battle, and that will be troublesome. Thinking of this, Fuguki couldn't waste any more time, so he acted immediately. Fuguki took the same harder sword from his back with a flash, and then he slammed the same harder toward Hiro. Fuguki sneered as he was attacking Hiro, same harder, flying chain cut. As Fuguki used same harder's secret ninjutsu, the handle of same harder suddenly stretched for more than 10 meters, then bent like a chain and moved toward Hiro with a very fast speed. Hiro used Flying Raijin Jutsu and dodged the attack instantly. But Fuguki's attack didn't stop. Same harder hit the ground, smashing it directly, which created a huge bottomless pit in that place. Fuguki didn't use same harder's special abilities but directly used them to attack with brutal force. Fortunately, Hiro easily avoided it. Otherwise, the consequences would be a bit scary. Jinpashi, who was severely injured by Hiro a few minutes ago. His face was filled with anger, and he said coldly to Hiro, "Hiro, don't underestimate the 7 ninja swordsmen because we will kill you this time no matter what." Jinpashi's face was filled with anger. He looked very annoyed, as his eyes fixed on Hiro as if he wanted to swallow Hiro alive from his rage. He was severely injured by Hiro's flying rage-and jutsu just now. In fact, he was almost killed by this attack, which made Jinpashi very angry. At this time, just looking at Hiro's made him even angrier. He must let Hiro pay back. Explosive sword jutsu, multiple explosions of death. Same harder, air cutter. Without further ado, both Jinpashi and Fuguki teamed up at this critical moment and launched a strong attack toward Hiro. The two of them launched a powerful attack at the same time, attacking him from both sides. Hiro opened his 6-pointed star Mangekyou Sharingan. Originally he wanted to avoid their attacks using Kamui, but after thinking about it a little bit, he didn't intend to use Kamui anymore. Fuguki Sukazan, Jinpashi Munashi. It just happens that I want to test my real strength. Both of you should feel lucky for being the first 2 people that will see my true power. Hiro sneered. Hiro has already decided to use one of his secret moves. Facing the joint attack of Fuguki and Jinpashi, Hiro did feel some pressure. But Hiro wanted to try the other abilities that he hadn't used before to become more proficient at using them in the battle. Susanoo! Hiro shouted. As Hiro shouted, the chakra inside his body started bursting out and then soared to the sky. Different colored chakras started gathering on Hiro's body. The first appearance of Susanoo. That's it guys, hope you like the video. Make sure you like, share and subscribe the channel. And also tell me your recommendation in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching.